Now in old school Runescape, you need money for everything, but unfortunately, most of the best moneymakers are locked behind high intensity methods like bosses or carpal tunnel simulators, and sometimes you just want to chill but make some money at the same time. So today I have 15 of my favorite methods that are either low intensity or completely AFK. Now I have three classifications here. We have low intensity, which is you can not click or interact for roughly 30 to 60 seconds. We have very AFK methods, which are 1 to 2 minutes between clicks. And we have true AFK, which is 5 minutes plus. Not many methods fall into that, but there are a few. Okay, let's start with one I think is really underrated, and that is making Lunar Tablets. The ability to craft Lunar Tablets was added in 2020, so I don't think everyone knows about it. It's 5 years, but still. Not only is it a pretty solid moneymaker, but it's also a great training method as well. To make Lunar Tablets, you need to complete Lunar Diplomacy and have at least 69 magic to make the lowest level tablet. Now the way this will work is you will start in the Moon Clan bank with all of the runes you need for the tablet you want in a rune pouch ideally, and the rest is an inventory full of clay. And also you might want to equip an elemental staff. We're going to be making water breath teleports, so we're going to bring a staff of water. From the bank, you just run over to this building to the west, click on the lectern, click on the teleport you want, and start crafting. It takes roughly 70 seconds to make a full inventory here, and just a few moments to reset. So it's a very AFK method that will earn you about 800k per hour GP depending on the price of the tablets and which ones you do. And you'll also get about 75k magic XP per hour, so it's honestly just a pretty solid method all around. Now next up here we actually have a mining method, which is mining the salts in Weiss. Now this is a low intensity method that really doesn't require you to move ever if you don't want to. Now if you descend the stairs in the center of Weiss and start heading towards the Phantom Muspa, you'll notice there are a lot of mineable rocks here. There are the 3 different salts and basalt. Pretty much all of them are about 450k per hour. And the nice thing about the salts are that they are snackable, so although you do have to click on rocks every 30 seconds or so, the materials just keep stacking up, so you never actually have to bank them. Alternatively, you can mine the basalt as well, which is not stackable, but if you just go upstairs, you can note them with the NPC Snowflake. Unfortunately, the mining experience is very negligible. They really didn't want to make this a training method, but as long as you have 72 mining, you can make up to about a half a mil per hour here, while essentially never moving. So next up we have one of my favorite methods, and that is fishing Cannonballs with a fish barrel. You don't strictly need the fish barrel, but it will double your AFK time at 0 cost, so it is quite nice to have it. Now the fish barrel is obtained from Temperos, and it is untradeable, so your mileage may vary on how easy it is to obtain. It took me quite a while though. Now Cannonballs is something that is unlocked by completing Taiba 1i Trio and requiring 65 fishing to get started. But it is one of the few true AFK methods in RuneScape, allowing you to AFK for about 6 minutes to get a full inventory. Now it's also ideal to take advantage of fairy rings, so you want those unlocked as well. Now the first thing you need to do is bring a small fishing net and go to the fairy ring code DKP. From here you'll click on these Cannonballs fishing spots and collect a bunch of Cannonballs bait. Once you've collected that, you'll go to the fairy ring CKR, bringing with you a Cannonballs vessel, which you'll get from the quest, your Cannonballs bait, and a fish barrel, and you want your diamond staff equipped. Now you want to set your fish barrel to open because that will make the Cannonballs go directly in there to begin with, which is what you want. You click on the spot and you can go make a coffee now because the spot never moves, and you essentially have to fish like nearly 60 Cannonballs before you stop. Personally, I like banking just as Zenaris because you can just take the fairy ring, which is right there. Now because this is so AFK, it's not an incredibly profitable method, but it does get you about 200k per hour GP while getting 30k per hour fishing experience, so it's a super AFK fishing method that makes you a bit of money along the way as well. Now one of the more interesting methods that have been added in recently is killing abyssal demons with a Venator Bow. Now the reason the Venator Bow is so good at abyssal demons is because the arrows will bounce up to 2 additional NPCs, which will kind of keep all of the demons aggroed. Previous to the goading potions, this was kind of the only way to essentially get a goading effect without monsters being aggressive towards you. And although abyssal demons aren't normally that profitable to kill, when you have an AoE weapon, you can start getting 200 kills per hour while completely AFK. That starts to be pretty solid money. You do need the Venator Bow, which is like an 80 mil weapon, and you need 85 Slayer to kill abyssal demons. Well, here's the idea though. We're going to come into the Catacombs of Kourend, run north towards the Abyssal Demons, tanking the customary Dragon Shot on the way. Here we'll put on Protect Melee and Rigor, drink a ranging potion, and then just attack one of them, making sure you have Auto Retaliate on. Now as you can see, the arrows start bouncing towards other demons, which cause them to be aggressive, and that's what makes this method so AFK. We don't have to re-click on every single demon because the bow kind of does that for us. Now it's a little inconsistent. Sometimes, you get unlucky and you'll kill your demons before another one respawns. And if you really wanted to be safe, you could bring a goading potion here, but that will reduce your profit per hour by about 100k. Now you can get about 800k, 900k per hour in profit just by picking up Abyssal Whips right now, as they're over 2 mil. But on top of that, you can get over 150k ranged experience per hour as well, so it's actually an insane training method, and allows you to AFK for about 2 minutes at a time. Really just come back in, re-up your prayer, make sure you're still attacking a demon. I would say it's pretty conservatively about 2 minutes of AFK time. So probably the most popular AFK moneymaker right now is killing Firewatch Sentinels, and there's a good reason for it. Killing Firewatch Sentinels requires the completion of the Sins of the Father, but besides that, that's pretty much all you need. The weapon you have to use to kill them is awarded from the quest. Besides that, you just want to bring your best in slot prayer gear and strength gears. So I like to bring Sunfire with a Defender, a Torture, Primordials, but anything will really work. Now Firewatch Sentinels are always aggressive towards you, unless you have the Vire Noble clothing on, which you're not going to want on. So because of this, you can AFK here for as long as your prayer lasts for. So if you throw on Protect Melee and your lowest level offensive prayer, you can AFK for like 7 or 8 minutes at a time, assuming you have a high-ish prayer level. Most people though will be able to AFK here for at least 5 minutes, which is going to make this a truly AFK method. The reason these are profitable is because they drop the Blood Shard, which is worth about 13 mil right now. It's pretty rare though, and you're only going to be getting about one every 10 hours or so. Personally, I like the location to the south of the Darkmire teleport. We just come here and camp, pray, melee, bring a bunch of prayer potions. Regardless though, this place is completely packed, one of the downsides, but you can get about 900k per hour while you click only like once every 10 minutes. So there's a reason it's so popular. Now you know what's really AFK? Watching Twitch streams, and guess what? I am now streaming on Twitch. If you want to check out Trader Steve live or anything else, there'll be a link to my Twitch in the description. Toss me a follow, we'll be going live this week. Now probably one of my favorite magic training methods that's also really AFK is actually jewelry enchanting. Now this can be done at a variety of different levels, and you can start it as early as level 7. It offers a combination of money and experience, and will allow you to AFK for about 1 minute and 30 seconds per click, so quite chill. Now the first thing you need to do is find something that you want to enchant. Generally Sapphire is the most consistent, but higher level jewelry options also work quite well. If you come over here to the jewelry enchant calculator on the wiki, it shows you a bunch of different options. Generally Sapphire works pretty well consistently, Jade items can work well, Topaz, and even Diamond. Now what makes this so AFK is once you've started enchanting, you will continue to enchant your entire inventory, which makes this really relaxing. You can enchant about 750 jewelry items per hour, and it's a great low effort magic training method. Now another similar method that won't make you billions but is a very AFK way to train magic is casting Plankmake. Plankmake requires both Lunar Diplomacy and Dream Enter to be able to cast it, and you'll need 86 magic, so the requirements are kind of steep, but it is an amazing way to train the skill and make about 300k per hour while you're doing it. Now to cast the spell, you'll need Nature Runes and Astral Runes, and you'll want a Staff of Earth equipped, as well as your cash stack in your inventory. Now this is only profitable with specifically mahogany planks, so don't try it with any other log. You come over to Plankmake, cast it on the log, and similar to Jewelry Enchant, it'll do the entire inventory with the most ear-piercing sound effects, so I would turn that off. You get about 90 seconds AFK time with this method, and you'll also get about 90k magic experience per hour while making a moderate profit. Now, one of the most quintessential AFK moneymakers is killing rune dragons. Now, this is a low intensity method that, if you have the correct gear and levels, will allow you to AFK between 30 and 60 seconds. I mean, you're not going to leave your computer because you're in combat and you could die, but it's a very low intensity way to make actually really good money. Now, this is one of the most profitable methods, so it has a much steeper requirement requiring Dragon Slayer 2, at least a Fang, but ideally a Dragon Hunter Lance, and at least Bandos, or Justiciar if you really want to AFK. Justiciar is actually cheaper. So the idea is you have massive ranged and melee defense stats. You protect mage and you just tank the damage. You don't have to worry about any mechanics, you just hands off keyboard, pick up drops, drink prayer potions, and eat anglerfish when you need to. You also need to wear insulated boots. And I'm also bringing Burning Claws, so whenever I come back and my specs recharge, I just dump the specs. And we'll also bring an extended super anti-fire potion, a dig site pendant, and a super combat. Okay, so to get there, we're going to use our dig site pendant and go to Licthrin. We're going to run through these doors here and then slap on protect mage, piety, drink our super combat potion. We'll dump our specs, why not, and now we are chilling. Whenever a dragon dies, we'll just pick up the loot, drink a couple potions, or eat a couple anglerfish, and carry on. If no one's here and you still have HP, I mean, you could AFK more and wait a bit longer and pick up 2 drops at a time, but now you're kind of risking, dying. AFK and Rune Dragons can get you well over a mil per hour, and will get you some moderate combat experience as well, so it's a really solid method, albeit with some steep requirements. Now another very AFK combat method that doesn't have nearly as high requirements is killing Gargoyles. In 2025, Gargoyles are insane money for whatever reason. Well, it mainly comes down to the fact that the Granite Maul is 700k right now, which has really increased the profitability of Gargoyles. Gargoyles only have a Slayer level requirement of 75, and you can kill them with much less gear. Really just need to bring your best crush weapon, and either melee gear to tank some damage, or prayer gear if you're just going to protect melee. Now for this to be AFK, you do need to have unlocked the Rock Smasher perk from the Slayer reward shop. I would recommend doing it anyway. Without this, you will need to manually use your Rock Hammer on each Gargoyle, so that completely cuts your AFK time. So you definitely need that, and you need to bring the Rock Hammer. Some people will opt to bring Guthans as well if they want to never leave, but if you have access to a Slayer ring, it doesn't take that long to get back here anyway. And if you're wearing Bandos level gear, the Gargoyles don't really do that much damage. If you're wearing Proselyte or something, then you're negating all the damage entirely. Now this can be killed on task or off task, but either way, you can actually get close to a mil per hour right now, purely propped up by the Granite Maul. You just run into the middle of them, and you can start AFKing. Now, whether you use Offensive Prayers is up to you. You can throw in a lower tier one if you want to AFK here for a couple minutes at a time. You can throw on Piety if you want to check back every minute or two. The world's your oyster with this one, but regardless, as soon as you get one of those Granite Maul drops, you'll be raking in the cash. So crafting Cannonballs has historically been one of the most popular AFK ways to make money, but a couple years ago there's actually been an update to that, and that is the double Cannonball mold. Now this has essentially doubled the profitability of Cannonballs, albeit while making it half as AFK, so it's kind of a bit of a trade-off, but I think it's 100% worth it. Like, to craft a Cannonball you need 35 smithing, and to get the double Cannonball mold you need to participate in the Giant's Foundry smithing minigame. It probably takes a couple hours to get it, but with it you can make about 250k per hour, while getting some passive, albeit pretty slow, smithing experience. Now, even with the double Cannonball mold, you still get about a minute and 30 seconds of AFK time. Now, compared to some of these other methods, the profit is low, but the requirements are pretty low as well, so I think making Cannonballs is still a worthy option. Now, thanks to the price of Dragon Bones, killing Brutal Black Dragons are pretty profitable in 2025. And they do have pretty steep requirements. You do need to have 77 Slayer to even be able to attack them, and probably minimum a Dragon Crossbow and Diamond Bolts, plus the best range gear you can muster. Now, I would qualify them as a low intensity method, requiring a click every 30 to 60 seconds. Now, an easy way to get here is to use the Zarik's Inferno teleport, run a bit over to the east, and go down this trap hole. Now besides your range gear, you want to bring a super anti-fire potion, a divine ranging potion, and just a couple of prayer potions and maybe a bit of emergency food. With the combination of protect magic and the anti-fire potion, you won't take any damage. And that's what makes this so AFK, you can just relax as you slowly kill the dragons. Now obviously you do want to pay some attention. If a dragon attacks you and it's right beside you, it can melee you and start doing damage. That's why it's not, a fully AFK method. But killing Brutal Black Dragons can get you up to about 1.3 mil per hour, making it still, in my opinion, an excellent low-intensity training method. Now, a method I dabbled with a bit when I was training fishing is fishing sacred eels. Now, this is an incredibly AFK method that you unlock at level 87 fishing, but you also want to have a relatively high cooking level as well. Now you fish sacred eels in Zolandra, and essentially each eel can be broken down into Zulrah scales, and the amount of Zulrah scales you get depends on your cooking level, so the higher the better. Now these are incredibly slow to catch, and the spots really don't move that often. Each sacred eel is worth nearly 2k each once you've broken it down, and at higher fishing levels and cooking levels you can get almost 400k per hour here, while getting some modest fishing experience at 23k or something at the most. In my experience, you can usually get 1 to 3 minutes of AFK time here pretty consistently, although sometimes it can go even higher. Great method for mobile, great method for relaxing, and you never have to bank either because you can simply just use the knife on the sacred eel and break it down into a stackable Zulrah scale. Now another low intensity method I would recommend is actually killing Dagon Rex. Now this doesn't sound that AFK, but it kind of is, although it can be a little bit finicky to get set up. Now the requirements for this are quite low as well. There's no requirements to access Waterbirth Island, and you can really get this done with just a Iban staff or a Warp Scepter or something like that. And because Dagon Rex has such low defenses, you're literally going to bring Torrags or something. Anything that has higher range defense, you can even wear a Granite Shield. In your inventory, you're going to need a Pet Rock, a Rune Throne Axe, a handful of super anti-poisons, a Stamina Potion, some Prayer Potions, and some food. Now first you need to run all the way through the Dagonoth dungeon, following the route all the way to the Dagonoth Kings. Now if you go down the ladder and there's someone already killing Dagonoths in the world, I personally find it easiest to just run to a corner, make sure you're not getting attacked, and X-log, meaning you actually just straight up close your client. After a handful of seconds you will be force logged off in this position. Otherwise it's quite difficult because you're constantly being aggroed by these Spinalops. From there you just log onto a free world, or hopefully a free world, run into this western corner, and just make sure you tag Rex. As long as you stay right on the west side, none of the other Dagonoths will attack you, and Rex gets stuck on practically everything, but I like to just run a bit to the south. You get stuck on something, I don't even know. From here you have about 30 seconds to kill him, and then a full minute and a half for him to respawn, where you just chill. And because of the price of Berserker rings, you can get over 1 mil per hour here, and if you have access to the Fremennik Elite Diary, you can get up to 1.5 mil per hour. Now I think a really underrated Slayer monster is actually Bassilis Knights. They're actually incredibly low intensity and a really profitable monster at that. You can get up to 2 mil per hour killing Bassilis Knights, and you hardly have to pay attention at all if you're using melee. Now to kill Bassilis Knights you need to complete Fremennik Exiles, have 62 Slayer, and probably 80 plus combat stats. Now they're essentially weak to Crush, so I like to bring an Ursine Chain Mace, but your best Crush weapon will do just fine. The major drawback is you actually do need a Bassilis task to realistically make any money here, so you can't do these non-stop. But the idea is very simple. You just bring a super combat potion, 7 or 8 prayer potions, and the rest anglerfish. I just run into the middle of them with Protect Mage and Piety on, and you can AFK for usually like 45 seconds to a minute and a half, so probably my favorite Slayer task. I'm pretty spooned here though, so that could be part of it. And finally here we have mining amethysts. This is a very high level mining method that's unlocked at level 92, but is one of the most AFK mining methods in the entire game. Once you've unlocked it, you can get about 300k GP per hour while getting a modest 20k mining experience. And it's pretty much as simple as it gets. Click on amethysts, wait 1 minute to 5 minutes sometimes. If you don't want to bank, you can chisel your amethyst into amethyst dart tips, making it so you just never have to move. A high level method, but one of the most AFK options. Anyway guys, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.